Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris, and you're watching Park Pass. And today we're going to explore some catacombs and go underground and see some real skeletons. What? It's a total adventure. In fact, Amanda brought Miles his adventure hat.
It is kind of coolish today.
There's Amanda. Miles is wearing his adventure hat. We're waiting for our ride to go into the underground catacombs.
I needed it.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah.
You need an adventure hat? All right, we just got dropped here at the catacombs, guys, and we're gonna go in, and we have a tour guide that's actually from America, and she's gonna take us on a tour. But I'll tell you some of the cool information that we already learned. Is the catacombs, it was for the Christians in Rome, because at first, it was illegal to worship anything. Christianity had to be done in secret. And in Rome, they believed in cremating bodies, but early Christians did not want their bodies cremated. And in Rome, the city of Rome, they were not allowed to have cemeteries inside the city walls. They had cemeteries, that was a law. The cemeteries had to be outside the city, and it was expensive. Roman law had that the cemeteries were like sacred places. Romans were kind of afraid of cemeteries, ghosts, and they called them shades, and they called them ghosts. But in a cemetery, you cannot arrest somebody in a cemetery. You cannot kill somebody in a cemetery. It's a holy place. Think of it like a temple. Well, early Christians, they built these catacombs where they could bury bodies without having them be cremated. And originally it was believed that the Roman government didn't know that Christians were doing this. But now it's come to light that they actually probably knew that it was going on, but they just kind of turned a blind eye to it because they were taking care of a lot of the dead bodies, which is a big, huge tax burden on Rome. So Rome's kind of like, yeah, you guys can have your catacombs. And so these catacombs, they first were made, there are 4 levels. There's always 4 levels. And there's 69 different catacombs in Rome. And the one that we're going to is 13 miles. We can't go all 13 miles. I think we only go to a fourth of a mile of it. But they had 4 different levels. And a lot of them didn't have a lot of oxygen. You had to be by an air shaft to breathe. And they were not allowed to take torches down into the shaft, into the catacombs, because it would burn all the oxygen and the people couldn't breathe. Now the catacombs are all ventilated, so you could breathe okay in it. But they had these little teeny tiny oil lamps where they had a little tiny flame that flickered to give them a little bit of light, and you couldn't stay down there too long. So, and they had this thing where, we're gonna go down and show you all of it. I'll film everything I can down the catacombs to show you what it's like. And if you just have little ones watching, just be aware, we're gonna be seeing some real skeletons. I don't know if you need a little warning for that or not, but we're gonna show you that. All right, so I'm gonna show you some symbols. These are replicas, but in the catacombs they had the symbols and to represent Christianity. This is like the Good Shepherd, and then this is a dove, because when you die, they believe that your body, your spirit would fly up to heaven like a bird. And the most common was a fish. And a fish for Christianity was the very most common that they had. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, isn't it the cross? Well, the cross wasn't really introduced until the medieval times, because Christians, the early Christians, were afraid of the cross. It terrified them. So the fish was, and then also you've got, this would be like this is how they would pray, with their hands up like this. This is a statue of Domitilla, and she was the granddaughter, make sure I get this, our tour guide here, she was a granddaughter of Emperor Vespasian, and he built the Colosseum. And it was kind of embarrassing because she kind of secretly converted to Christianity, and then she donated the land that we're on to make these catacombs, and then she was exiled to this island where they beheaded her. And apparently, if you were wealthy, they would behead you. If you were poor, you were crucified. And it's believed, not written, but believed, that her body was brought back here to the catacombs and eventually buried here. So because of her, they had this ground. And of the 69 catacombs, 5 of them are open to the public, and the rest of them are not open to the public. So we're gonna go in and show you stuff. Like I said, you will see some bones, so if you have little ones, just kind of careful, but it's not that big of a deal. Now we're going down inside. This is the map of the catacombs. It's 13 miles. We're only gonna be in this little area right here. Now, once I go in, I can't videotape, I found out, but I have something cool to show you guys anyways, so watch. Okay, so the catacomb is owned by the Catholic Church, not the Vatican, but the Catholic Church. They have a no film and no photography rule. I did not want to break that rule, but I got a book that shows what we saw. I'll show you pictures of the book, and then I'll tell you kind of the cool things that I learned as we're going to catacombs. So we still have some more things to see though. But yeah, it was really amazing. It's interesting, the history and like how, we'll get into it in the photos. This is kind of what the inside of the catacombs look like. Now I want you to take a look at this. It was a very narrow, like this. They put a person inside that like this is very narrow, okay? And they would cover them. Any Christian could be buried here in this area. If they were wealthy, they would cover it up with marble. They put a marble thing there. If they weren't wealthy and they didn't have any money, then they would just use terracotta and cover that up, the entranceway with terracotta. So this is what the catacombs kind of look like down below. And these little spots here, you can see each of these spots, the lengths were depending on the size of the person. This here, you can see a person would have been buried inside. They've been covered up right here. They would decorate the outside with little ornaments. And one of my favorites is it was seashells were a big way for them to decorate it. And what I thought was funny is they liked the outside of the seashells. Like they put it in the outside seashells, where we would turn them around and look at the inside seashells. We thought they were prettier, but they would put the outside of the seashells. This is what the inside of the catacomb looked like. And this is like a doll made out of bone that they put into the side of the catacomb. Here's another, you see this is like the inside of the catacomb, like these that's right there. These were all been like, that's people would have been buried in there. Okay, so this next portion, we're gonna go inside. This is the convention, the Cappuccini. It's where these friars were, and it is a holy place. And there are a lot of skeletons inside, tons. And some of the friars, they're in their robes, and they're buried, and their skin is still a little tight on their face. And they call it the incorruptibility. They say that they're so righteous that that's why they have it decomposed. They use their bones to make this whole like art, and they decorate these 5 different rooms with all their bones. But once we're inside, we cannot videotape in there or anything like that. So I am going to purchase a bunch of postcards showing what each of the rooms are like, and then I'll tell you like what I've learned by going on this tour. Well, let's go inside. Okay, so here we are. We're looking inside this. These are all real skeletons. This is a picture that Amanda took. Now, they didn't let you take photos till a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, they started letting you take photos. You still can't do video yet. But as you can see, these are all human bones here, and they're used to decorate these rooms. And it's not meant to be done in a scary way or a macabre way. It's just meant to show the passage of time. And as you can see some of the friars right there. Let's take a look here. This next photo here, you can see it's like a domed ceiling. They use every bone. Every bone was used to decorate the rooms. You got the vertebrae, the ribs, all of it was used to decorate these rooms. And it's really intricate, and it was an honor to be buried here this time. And as we pan down here, you kind of see the friars there, some of them were buried with their completely intact, just standing up like that. Here, this photo on the right-hand side, you can see that friar, his skin is still kind of on his skull, and they call that the blessing of incorruptibility. They believe that this person was so righteous that they're decaying slower than other people, that he wasn't corrupted by sin. So that's why his body's decaying a little bit slower than the other friars here. So it's just, and it was kind of a shock when I saw it in person. I was like, oh my gosh! But yeah, it's right there. Then if you look here, you can see these 3 friars. They look like they're kind of like their heads bowed, and they are holding their only earthly possessions. They have a cross, the robe, and they would have had some like the rosary beads. That would have been their only possessions, and the cross is what they would have hung above their bed. And we don't know who these particular priests were or why they received the honor of being fully assembled, but they were selected for that. This here is another priest, a friar, and you can see that they made like a bed for him. Again, this is his only possessions. He had his cross that he was buried with. That was his robe, and also you can see like his sash of the robe, and he's laying there. And you can see it's amazing. We don't know who this person was. It's just why he received that honor, but he did receive that honor. Here's another little dome of this area. You can see how it's completely decorated, and you're looking at these particular. This one kind of freaked me out a little bit because what it says, there's a little sign there. It says, "What we once were." Oh, let's see here. It says, "What you are, we once were. What we are, you will become." And just let you know that everybody, it's inevitable. The passage of time is going to happen with every single person. Now, I also bought some postcards here. This here is a skeleton of a little boy, and they put it, you see, it's kind of holding like the side there, and also holding the scale of justice. This skeleton was attached to the ceiling of this particular room, showing that like kind of like the death comes for everybody. And then if you look, this is a front-facing view of the room. You can see that the boy is on the ceiling there. And then if you kind of take a look at the back, this kind of made me a little bit sad. We're going to zoom in here on the back. You're going to see there's two little tiny skeletons. And there's those little skeletons. These apparently were the Pope's, I believe, nieces, and they received the honor of being put there, and which was a great honor to them. And you'll notice on the left-hand side of them, or the right-hand side of them, they kind of have like the scapula, and they've made these bones to look like time. Time is passing like an hourglass, saying that time passes for all people. Now, right here, this just shows like all the different bones, like how many people's bones they used to actually decorate this room. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see some crosses. On top of the crosses, there were some nails because they actually would put candles. They didn't have electricity in this room until like I think 88. And then here are some other of these priests. And again, this is what it said is like, as you are now, we once were. As we are now, you will become. And it wasn't meant to be scary or anything like that. It was just meant to be, that's the way that how time passes. Now, this is, I think, a really fun little piece of trivia. These are the Capuchin friars, the Capuchin friars. And this is located on this very busy street, this Capuchin area. And in the 1960s, it was very popular. A lot of tourists come there. Audrey Hepburn, everybody come here. And this Italian barista made a new drink where he added coffee added milk to coffee. And he wanted to come up with a name. And he would look and he'd see these friars walking with their brown robes, and their heads would be shaved, and it was like white on top. And he goes, oh, my new coffee looks like these Capuchins. And so he called it Cappuccino. Yeah, they're named after these friars right here, Cappuccino. Okay, so this tour that we went on was a children's tour. Amanda had it organized because it was all catered to having children there. And in the children's age, as long as the children pretty much walk, this would be fine. So this tour company was called Live Tours. Live Tours, they're not paying us to say this. We just had a very good experience with them, and we want to share this with you guys. And our tour guide, her name was Tiffany. Tiffany she's American, but she's lived here in Italy for 20 years, so she knows all the Italian customs. There's no problem with communication. She's very knowledgeable. If you decide you ever want to do this, go to Live Tours, livetours.com, and there's a discount code. Type in Tiffany, Tiffany. Oh wait, let me double check that, make sure that we spell her name correctly. Tiffany 10. So type in Tiffany 10 and you get 10% off of your tours. I thought she was great, a very delightful, excellent tour guide. Miles, what did you think of it?
I thought it was amazing. We got to see skulls, and it was actually pretty cool.
We did see skulls, like a lot of skulls. Right?
Yeah.
Did you like the catacombs better or the crypt better?
Catacombs.
Catacombs. It was very cool. Loved it.
Yeah.
We went to a catacomb, then we saw a crypt. It was amazing to see how Rome took care of their deceased, and it was really cool. And then when we were at the crypt, we saw so many bones. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, but didn't freak Miles out or Amanda out. They thought it was amazing, and we learned that cappuccino is from cappuccino. I guess is how you say that. And also, hey, to our Patreons, thank you so much. If you want to become a patron, click the link below.